All right, everybody, welcome to
And stuff.
Tonight. We are looking at Battle Beast number 1. We also have a great guest on, Patrick Blaine. We're going to talk about the stuff he's doing, get into some stories, going to have an awesome time. We'll see you in 2.3 seconds or something like that. Talk to you soon.
I am telling you, it is the definition between an entrepreneur and an employee. The employee goes to the cliff, looks over the cliff, says, is there a balloon down there? Do I be safe? What happens if it clicks? What if I land on my neck? The entrepreneur, they said, we need to jump off the cliff, backs up 10 feet to get a fucking run.
This town needs an enema.
Fuck.
Who are you? Where's Commissioner Blaine?
Come on. You guys can beat me.
You stupid!
You don't really think you'll leave? Things change.
You got me? Who's got you?
Everything changed. And anyone who tells you different is just lying.
You know who this is? This is Mark motherfucking Sylvester.
All right, what is going on, everybody? Good to see you tonight. Thursday night, we're ready to roll with another.
And stuff.
Yeah, we're badass. Look at that. We're getting that thing down, man.
It's not our first rodeo.
We have 4 different shows on this channel, and every show has a different open. So sometimes I got to reset my brain every time we're doing like Ahrent stuff, the Spawn review, Ronan Joe, appreciating comic book art live, all that kind of stuff, because we try to do it different, make it unique to that show. So here we are, Ahrent stuff, episode 251, by the way, one episode from the 250 and our 5-year anniversary, which was last week, which was a very fun show. So thank you everyone for joining us last night. We got a lot of good stuff tonight. We're going to talk about Battle Beast number 1, which was an awesome, just fun, the way comics should be, right, Sean?
Oh, I loved it. I can't wait for issue 2. Can't wait to deep dive into this book. And yeah, man, this is what comic books is all about for myself.
Yeah, we also have a really awesome guest coming on. We're going to jump into his story and the stuff that he's done. It's really cool to have him on. And we just found out he was a fan of the show, too. So that's badass. That's badass. I'm going to say hi to the chat. Now, look, guys, I just want to say this. I did not see who was the true number 1 in the chat. I posted the show yesterday. I did see, though, John Apple was the first comment I saw, but then he ratted himself out because he says, "Hail chat, damn, 5 hours early and still not the first." So,
Who was the first?
who was the first? That is the question. I don't know. I don't know what to say on that. You know what? So we're just going to say that you guys are all the first. That means you're all.
You're number 1.
That's right. You are all number 1 tonight because I'm not sure who the real first is. We do have Mark Penguin in the house as well. Great to see you, brother.
So, Mr. Penguin, a penguin is a bird that cannot fly. I am a man. I have a name.
And his name is Mark Penguin. Thank you for being here, brother. We also have a member of the channel, Cosmic Studios, Heath Ward, who's always the first member in the chat. And of course, you know, we got to play this for our members, even though Paul doesn't like it anymore. Shout out to Paul, wherever you're at, MIA. But here you go.
Oh my God! I'm sorry! I can't stop coming! I'm sorry! Oh, it feels so good!
It feels so good to have the members in the channel.
Awesome.
afternoon. Stinks like sex in here.
Oh, you know what it is. You know what it is.
1 second.
Yeah,
Shout out to John Apple for getting the Creature Volume 2 trade paperback and tagging us and Greg Capullo on Twitter. That was awesome. Anybody that follows us or gets any of the books that we look at, please tag us on Twitter and whoever the creators are and tell them how awesome we are, just so we can try to get them on our show. That's all it's all about, and you spending money.
Look, we got the egos. They need to be stroked every once in a while. Give us the credit where credit's due, and you guys are doing that. So shout out to you, Heath Ward, John Apple. Stroke it all day long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wiley J. Draws is in the house. Says Rob has a YouTube channel now, in case anyone was aware. Yes, he does. I've been actually enjoying that. Like, I like Robservations, but I really like the YouTube, the visuals that he has. You know, he's got the props now, so now everything you talk about, he shows. And I've really been enjoying that on YouTube. It's just under Rob Liefeld. So, guys, go find it. Subscribe to the channel.
It's fun. Sometimes I'll heat up a meal and I'll pretend like we're out to dinner, like we used to, and like he's talking to me. I'm like, oh yeah. You know?
Reliving good memories. By the way, I have a theory on time travel that just reminded me. I'm going to tell you later. Not now, but just, you know, if anybody is interested, DM me. I'll let you guys know. I figured out time travel. It's a real thing. I can do it. Pizza's in the house. Great to see you, brother. We also have Blue Boy Comics.
Blue, you're my boy.
Says Battle Beast #1, the best new book of 2025, best book of the year after Reaper Destroyer. That's right.
Okay.
Well, Type 1's not out yet, man. Don't take offense. Type 1's not out yet.
I was going with Shirley Johnson.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Now I'm pissed. Yeah.
Thank you, Blue Boy. Good to see you, brother. Jay Blue's in the house. Says, hey, guys, not #1, but glad to be here. You're #1 in my heart. Jay, I want you to know that. Twisted Dreams is in the house, ready to go.
Notes. The extraction theory papers. Am I the only one who did the
Says, here in spirit, we got some repair to deal with. Well, I hope that goes good. You're listening to the show and still having a good time. We also have Christopher Bouchard. Welcome, my friend. Says, what's up, Joe? Sean, Battle Beast is so far awesome.
Yep.
I like it. We're going to go with that. And it is a great book. We're going to jump into it a little bit later. We'll talk about it. Very fun book. I'm glad that so many of you bought the book and read it and are going to dive into the conversation with us. Mark says, Joe just went to the future. Not the future. I can't go to the future, but I figured out time travel, and it's legit. And I think when I explain it to people think it's legit too. One of these days, I'll let everybody in on it. Gifted Rebels is in the house. What's going on, brother? He says Ryan Otley is top of his game. I like it. By the way, if you guys, I am a single dad tonight, so I got my daughter. She's coming into the studio, going to hang out with us. Probably not on camera. Going to sit over there, hang out. Hey, baby, how's it going? Do you want to come and say hi to everybody? You want to say hi? Here. Don't yell into the mic, though.
Hi.
How
are you?
Hey, there's Uncle Sean. Hi. And then we got the chat over here. You see all these people here in the chat? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go draw, right? Well, I'll help you spell after the show. How about that? Okay? You're doing a good job, though. You're going to just chill out over there? Okay. All right.
You're like, don't touch that book.
Like, don't touch any of that. All right. I love you. All right.
It's your house.
Time travel is real. I'm going back to 1939 and buying 20 copies of Action Comics #1. I like that.
I would, yeah.
I will be ears open for the good. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to explain it tonight. Maybe on the Ronan Joe show, we'll do it. Hey, baby, they're all saying hi to you, by the way. Yeah. Yeah. So it's my first time I've had my child. What are you doing back there?
She's gonna color in all the lines.
All right. Hold on a second.
So anyway, I am working on the layout for page 42 for Type 1. I am so stoked. I'm pages away for finishing it on my end. I have a date of June 23rd to get all the pages completed on my end. Talking to Dan Kemp tomorrow about his scheduling and just kind of rocking and rolling. I'm really looking forward to the scripting apps part of it because I didn't really think I would enjoy the writing part in that aspect, but so far it's going pretty good. It's a lot of fun, balls to the wall, kind of like what Battle Beast has going on for itself. But if you haven't yet, please share out the links to Type 1, either on Indiegogo or Fund My Comic. We are at $10,050. Thank you to everybody that has shared, supported, liked. Even if you don't like it, back the book anyway. What the hell? But yeah, man, everything's going fun and girls. So yeah, good times. And you can tell I don't like doing this stuff alone, but the things we do to do.
Let's just skip the intro. I'm gonna throw our guests on so you have somebody to talk about.
Oh, there we go.
I'll be right back after
you know
that.
who we are. You know who we are.
I'm gonna be producer for 2 seconds. Why don't you bring our guest down? I'm gonna get up.
The amazing Patrick Blaine joining us. Please bring him up.
Hey, there we go.
Thank you for being here and dealing with our familyness. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. It's such an honor to be with you guys. Like I said earlier before the show, I've been watching you guys for a while, and I feel like I know you guys already when we've just met officially. So great to meet you guys.
It's again generally a real pleasure. It's funny about like streaming and streamers where like if you watch somebody's podcast, you're like, I think I know them, but then if you go up to them in real life, you're like,
oh, it's a one-way thing.
Yeah. But how's everything going on your end? How's the campaign going?
It's going okay. I mean, it was my first solo effort, so I learned a lot of lessons, and I think if I need to relaunch it, I'll know what not to do next time.
Sure.
But I might even go the Indiegogo route, just because at that point, then I'll at least be able to, print the book and ship it out to people instead of with Kickstarter how it's like all or nothing.
Yeah.
A double-edged sword a little bit. So yeah, but it's been a great experience so far, and I love working on the book. And all I want to do is draw comics, and the selling them and marketing them—that's a whole other thing,
Right. Yeah. I gotta say, everything you're producing is just beyond beautiful and inspiring.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I love what you're doing with Type 1 and Reaper Destroyer looks great. Your cover, I was just looking at your covers today, and I was like, that guy's got some cool stuff out there, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I got a lot of talented friends that I have a lot of dirt on, so I blackmail them.
That's the way to go, man.
Yeah, that's how I am. But so normally when we have a guest on for the first time, we like to ask them their origin. What got you into comics, creating, drawing, whatever. So, Patrick, what's your secret origin?
My origin. Well, it's funny because how I found your show is I saw that Chance Wolf was on with Del Keown talking to Joe once. It might have been, I don't think you were there that day.
No, not that time. No.
Yeah. And anyways, I got into comics through Chance Wolf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, back in the day, he was inking Shadowhawk.
Yeah.
And, doing the Pit logo and did the lettering Pit #1, and he painting the dragster for Todd McFarlane and all that. But he lived in a city that's just like 2 hours from me.
Okay.
And at one point, he was looking for some assistants to do some background work for him. And my friend Jason Gorder was an inker, and I was doing penciling stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's phenomenal. What happened to that guy?
Oh, he's still out there. He's still doing stuff, but he's not doing a whole lot of comics these days, which really bums me out. But
he's so talented. Okay, cool.
Great guy. And so me and Chance, Chance and Jason met each other, and then Jason introduced me to Chance. And so we ended up doing some background work for him. We worked on some Shadowhawk #13 backgrounds.
Okay.
Started the Wildcats, so it was really cool to sort of get in through the back door a little bit. And very common thing to get working comics as an assistant back then. I don't know if that's still a thing as much, but back then that was the way to go. So yeah, I was doing assistant work for Chance, and then Jim Valentino discovered that I was working in the group, and he asked me to do some samples for the spinoff he was doing called The Others. Yes. And so I sent him that stuff, and I actually got it, which was shocked the hell out of me. I was pretty green, but I ended up drawing issue 15 of Shadowhawk.
Yes. Nice. Well, you know what's cool about that era is you said you were pretty green, but Image was great about finding new talent and then bringing them into the industry and then letting them develop, even if it wasn't like, you weren't at the top of your game. Like you learn, like we've had conversation with Marat Michaels and Dan Fraga and even Brett Booth and some of these guys that came in under Image, under the second wave, third wave, whatever you want to see or talk about. And like they came in and learned on the job. And I think it was either Marat or Dan said that it was good. It was good and bad. Like they were doing their dream job, but also they got to mess up in front of everybody. Like,
Right.
like thousands of people reading the books got to see every single mess up as they, matured in the process. But that was awesome about the era. And it seems like, you got to benefit from that too. So Sean and I are jealous. We're just going to say that, we were just kids in the 90s, but we're still jealous. We don't like to live that life once.
I'm an old guy, so I was around back then. Yeah, luckily. But it was great because Jim Valentino was, he was like a rock star to us. All those image founders were like gods to us back then. I'm sure. But he took me under his wing, and he was like, he sent me the Bridgman book on how to draw correctly. Like he wanted me to learn all the structure and the understructure stuff. And he had me doing like exercises every day, doing gesture drawings, and I'd fax them to him and stuff. And it was really cool, really great guy. And he was having some fill-in guys work on Shadowhawk at the time. He had Chance doing issue 13, then Randy Queen did issue 14, and then I did number 15. And so that spun off.
Walter McDaniel did one of the issues, the one with Chapel.
Yeah. You think you're right. Yeah. He was doing the Pact for them, and Jason ended up doing that. Yeah, he took over Bat when Bat went to Top Cow. So and then Jason eventually ended up at Top Cow as well shortly after. So I helped him move down there when he went down there the first time, and I got to go into the Promenade studio they had.
Yeah,
that was crazy because I walked in there, and the first thing I saw was Michael Turner's desk. He was pretty new then, and he had all his ballistic work on the wall hanging next to him.
Oh man,
so I was just staring at that stuff, going, "This stuff is like next level, so good."
Yeah,
and that ballistic stuff, was so amazing. It was really.
We talk about that all the time. That most people know Turner from Witchblade and Fathom and Soulfire after that, but we remember like the ballistic Turner, and like to us sometimes our favorite work of Turner's is the ballistic run, because it was some of his first stuff. He was still raw and was just kind of throwing it out there and doing his thing before he kind of really refined his style and started developing what he wanted to do. It was just kind of such beautiful art. And just looking up at the ballistic series today, it still holds up. And like, I'm extremely jealous you got to see like the art, the original art from that as it was being made. Like that's awesome.
He had a lot of Wilson in back then because it had the Wetworks in it.
Sure. Yeah.
And so it was just amazing to see that evolution of him all through the years. And he broke in the same exact time I did. In fact, I found out years later from him that in 1994, when I went to San Diego Con for the first time, I got to go to the Jim Valentino party afterward at his house, and it was kind of a big deal because all the image guys would go to this.
Nice.
And that was like crazy. And all the extreme dudes were there, and Eric Stevenson was looking at my portfolio, and over his shoulder, a guy was looking. He was like, I had some Spawn stuff, Fighting Pit in there in my portfolio, and that Violator clown. And he's like, the guy over his shoulder said, "Hey, you do a pinup of that clown, I'll put it in Spawn." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And it was Terry Fitzgerald. So I was like,
nice.
That's cool. So awesome. Aaron Soud inked that, and it went in Spawn number 36. So that was technically my first image work, was Spawn number 36, that pinup. So, but what I found out much later was that I guess Michael Turner was at that party, and I never knew that. And he had been looking over the same shoulder, looking at my portfolio. So he remembered me from that.
That's cool.
Wow, that's dope.
He had a different career trajectory than I did, but man, that's kind of neat that we started at the same time.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
What's awesome about that time too, and it's just what makes me so jealous about. And Sean and I always talk about like we were born in the wrong decade. Like if we were teenagers in the '80s and got to kind of hit it into the '90s, like maybe we could have had a career in the best era of comics. But that time was so awesome because there was so much hype, so much excitement, and there were so many opportunities, it seemed like back then. Like people could either go become an intern and work their way up, or just, get noticed at conventions, which doesn't really happen anymore. And just, a story like yours and the stories we've heard so many times before, going to a convention, meeting people, getting a job, rubbing shoulders with these rock stars, is just, that's so awesome.
That's the dream.
That
I missed the dream.
I mean, not that we went through it, but like I missed that the opportunity that was out there.
Yeah. I had one other connection to Image back then, but when I was in high school, Todd McFarlane was going to school at Eastern Washington University, which is here in my town.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
And he used to work sometimes down at the Comic Rack, which was the only comic shop we had in town. So he'd
That's
go down
awesome.
there, and he I don't know if he was working there, if he was just behind the counter and he was hanging out. But I'd go in there and he'd show me like his Infinity Ink comics and like his Scorpio. He'd just done Scorpio Rose, so I kind of got to talk to him a little bit in those days. And of course, he wouldn't remember me, but I was just the kid just oohing and awing over all of his art.
Yeah,
because he had the coolest pages that I'd never seen stuff like this. He'd have like a woman on a phone, and the phone's cord would be wrapped around the entire.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, this guy's doing something out of the box, you know?
yes.
And then I got to watch him become a huge star, and I was like, that's what I want to do, you know? So yeah, that was neat.
You know, that's stuff like that is why I push back sometimes on people like I call comic book snobs when they come to talk about comic book art or comic book stories or whatever, because people like to shit on the 90s for the art style and whatever, for whatever reason. And I look at stuff like that, like, yeah, that's cutting edge stuff. Like, you are thinking about what is going to make something more exciting than just a woman talking on the phone. What can I do with this cord? Stylistically, visually, what can I do to make the camera or to make the picture have more energy and more flow to it? And Todd would do something just simple like that, which is move the cord, wrap it around, but it gives you something more for your eye to look at and something just more interesting than just someone talking on the phone. That's what was so great about that era of comics that I think we've really lost. It wasn't there before and it kind of disappeared after. But I hold that in such high regard because of the thought process. But like, what can we do to just make it more exciting for the reader when you're not seeing action and stuff? Just stuff like that was great.
I think that was the key to that whole image wave of hugeness back then, was that they took the art of the comic page and it wasn't just panels next to panels, in rows and stuff. It was everything exploded outside the box,
Right.
and the whole page became a piece of artwork on itself,
Yeah, and that, yes, preach it. Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
And the Todd started doing that stuff, and then and when Jim Lee and Mark Silvestri started doing that kind of thing, it kind of took off a whole nother direction.
Yeah.
That top cow method of kind of doing like a page where there's some satellite panels that tell the story perfectly, but there's one big image that Dave Finch would do in the center of the page that was just like a demon, cool. You're like, that's how you do a page, man.
Yeah. You got the anchor panel, I think, became very popular. And I still think that's I do that kind of stuff in Reaper Destroyer too, because that was just the era that I grew up reading. And I was like, this is the way comics should be told, because it was just so much more interesting than grid. And there's nothing wrong with the grid. Storytelling is good. You're still sequential. It's still, tells a story, moves the eye through a panel with the grids and everything. But when you took an entire page, like you said, and went from just telling a story, now the entire page is a work of art while telling the story. It's very graphic design. Like the entire page is now a graphic design piece of work, piece of art. And that's what I love about that era of comics, because you're just like, man, how'd you think of that? And designing my own pages, I'm sitting there thinking like, how cool can I make this spread look while also making sure that people can follow the story. And it's kind of a challenge, but when you hit it, you're like, man, that's cool. It's fun to look at, because I'm looking at the page, not just an individual panel. So yeah, I could, me, I'll talk forever about that stuff.
Oh, me too. Don't get me started, because I mean, even like my friend Joe Benitez, he's a master.
Brag about it.
So good at that stuff, man. They'll have many thin panels, but it's telling the story perfectly. But they'll have one big shot on there that's just like, this is the money shot that's going to sell this page when I'm done.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because I've heard the pushback on some people that might be comic purists or what. I don't even know what they would be, honestly. But some people push back on that, like, oh, you're just doing that because you're trying to sell the art. Well, yeah, that's a part of it.
Part of the job.
Collecting art is such a big thing. For people that collect art, you want to collect something cool. You don't necessarily want to just get a page of just grids. Although that could be cool if you're getting something from a very popular comic back in the day. But if you're looking at spending money, I think it was Mark Penguin in the chat dropped me a link to there was a Brett Booth, the Backlash Spider-Man cover that stole, or was it's for like $35,000 up for sale. That kind of stuff is cool. Like you look at that, it's just like, man, there's just so much there to look at, so much there to take in. And Patrick, you were talking about like the Top Cow, the way they stylized their pages, whether it was Finch or Turner or Silvestri or Benitez. They did those floating panels with the anchor panel, and it was so beautiful. That was the thing, as a young man or a young kid, a teenager that would look at that, you're like, I want to draw comics because of that shit there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I ended up in the studio at Top Cow in 2001. They asked me to come and be like a penciling intern that year.
Oh,
And
nice.
I moved to Los Angeles to do that. I didn't have a penny to my name, just sleeping on friends' couches and stuff. But it was so amazing going into that studio and being in the bullpen. Like Eric Basildua was there, Talent Caldwell, all these different guys. Joe Benitez was there every once in a while. Mike was there a lot.
Such talent.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Mark would come in at night and work, and so all his night owls would be there, and he'd come through the bullpen and just like start teaching. You know, he'd be when you'd see him stop at someone's desk, everybody would just turn and listen to what he was saying because he wanted to learn.
Yeah,
and that was incredible because you got to see the original pages. There's a difference when you're looking at the originals than when you're looking at even full size copies. It's not the same. It's like magic, you know.
Yep.
No, like looking at this page right here.
Let me blow you up. Hold on a second.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it's a page from Deadpool Corpse.
Oh, nice.
4. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and then looking at it in the floppy or the trade, you kind of get the mathematics of size to print. You know, and I always thought that was a huge step that a lot of the people really needed to see. Because you know it's about proportions, about you know, because it shrinks and whatever. It's like so getting original art like young-ish like really fucking had my mind like properly do.
Yeah, when you see originals like that, also kind of learn what not to draw because you can kind of see where they're leaving negative space.
Yes.
That's something Mark had to put me over the head with for. Every time I'd show him stuff, he'd get the eraser out first. You don't need any of this shit here, dude. Just give me all this stuff. You really get the honor to go to the important stuff. Leave some negative space that has an interesting shape.
Yeah,
that brings your eye. Also creates an interesting like yin and yang to the page. You know
that reminds me so much. So I had the pleasure of having Joe Weems ink 4 pages on Reaper Destroyer, and I got to work with him. And I got to see him go over my original pencils, which was so much of a learning experience because Weems is the kind of guy he'll do some corrections even if I didn't ask him. He'd do some corrections. He'd change some stuff, and I even told him, I was like, dude, do what you do. You're a legend. I'm Joe Blow nobody. I'm not gonna preach to you about keeping my line work, you know, whatever. And he was fairly respectful to the lines, but he would do some stuff. And one of the things I learned was I had a bunch of like what I thought was cool texture, grit, detail in the background of page 2. And when I got the inks back, he had taken a lot of that out and just, you know, designed it in a way that I looked at it and it made sense. I was like, holy shit. Like the way I had it was very muddied. Like, so the background took away from the main goal of where I wanted your eyes to go. And he just went in naturally. He was like, kind of what you said that Mark would do. He's like, I'm taking all this out. You don't need this. You don't need this. And then he's kind of stylized it and it worked so much better. And that was just a learning experience because I could see a master kind of go over my work and I'd be like, I get it. He didn't even tell me about it. Didn't teach me anything, but just the way he did it. I was just like, I get it. Like, I don't need all that crap because it took away from my picture. And now my image pops out because of what he did in that background. And that just in itself was a learning experience, you know?
And you definitely leveled up from having Weems and that ink your shit. Like just from like an outside source, seeing his skills level up because you have these 2 master craftsmen just embellish your work so perfectly.
Yeah.
That you just kind of tune into this other world or other euphoria where you're just like, things are changing on the gears, you know? So like,
and I picked up stuff, you know, like I picked up line work and how they would do some kind of rendering. And I would try to start matching that. I'd be like, okay, I can see what I did on my pencils and I can see what they did when they finished the inks. And it's not far off. It just looks better and correct. So now that I'm seeing it corrected, I'm going to start doing it more like these guys are trying to, or showing or doing it. And it helped me become a better artist as I went drawing that book. So yeah, it's such a benefit to work with people who know what they're doing, whether it's inkers or, you know, have that tutelage. And I think that's one of the things about the indie comic scene or the comic book artist scene in general nowadays. We don't have the teachers to kind of teach us anymore. And that sucks because like the 90s, 80s, 60s, 70s, 60s, people would come up in a bullpen and they would be taught hands-on, or you go to, you know, the Kubert school or whatever, and you get taught hands-on. We lost that. Now we stumble through the dark as much as we can until we kind of figure it out. But just that is so helpful for a younger artist.
Oh yeah, yeah. The bullpen thing that used to exist in studios. There's not a lot of studios around anymore
No,
either.
Yeah.
The one benefit for today is that we have YouTube. You know, you can see other guys drawing
Yes.
on TV, but
Yeah,
it's not the same as being there talking to the guy. You know,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll say that YouTube was great. You know, we had the Gnome series, or the what were they called, Sean? Yeah, the
Oh my-
Gnome series where
Yeah, yeah,
where you get Platt, you had Finch, you know, you had all these guys doing where you could actually watch them draw and you could see technique, which is the first time that like Sean and I ever got to see that kind of stuff as kids. And now you have YouTube and you can watch all these guys draw, which is a benefit because I'm a very visual learner. So if I see
Yep.
you doing something, I can pick it up. I'm like, okay, that makes sense now. Yeah, it's still not the same as someone, you know, being over your shoulder, you know, guiding you through it and teaching you, but it is the closest we have, which I've seen a growth in my art over the last 10 years, more so than it ever was before that happens, you know, where I'm just in the
Yeah.
dark. You get your art book and you're doing what you can, but you're
Yeah.
really still in the dark because you don't really know what the hell is going on. You don't know why you're doing certain things. You're just kind of copying. You know, now you can kind of learn from some of the guys because of YouTube. So that is
I
a
think the
plus.
best of it is Finch. Like, thank
Finch
God
is
he's
great.
doing
Yeah,
what
yeah.
he's doing, like with his channel and his courses, and I'll buy them even though it's really recycled shit from his channel on a
Yeah.
different platform. I'll
Still
still
good
spend
stuff,
those
though,
$100.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'll still. I want to learn from the best, and you know, like so.
he's an art god to me. He's one of the
Yeah.
best that ever was in comics. So
Same.
Yeah, he's definitely up there. Let me say hi to the chat real quick. We got Michael Pritchard in the house. What's going on?
What's up?
And also AZHQ is in here as well. Good to see you guys.
Great
Wherever
book.
you're watching, what's a great book?
The Cyberforce Origins
Oh,
Sideways issue
yeah.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's Benitez's second issue he drew.
Wherever you guys are watching, hit the like button, share it out. If you're in the YouTube chat or if you're watching this live, you're watching this later, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Hit the like button, share it out, let people know. And comment below. Engage with us throughout the week on any of our shows, any of our shorts. We'll definitely talk with you in the comments as well. We are talking to Patrick Blaine, who has got a really cool campaign we're going to look at here at the end of the show. But we are going to get into Battle Beast #1, which dropped, I think, 2 weeks ago. Or
Something like
last
that,
week,
yeah.
something like that, which is the continuation of the Invincible universe, bringing back original creator Kirkman, or Robert Kirkman, and then Ryan Ottley back on art. So it's a kind of a cool continuation for all you people that are big Invincible fans. So we're going to jump into that here in a second. But before we do, if there was anything you wanted to wrap up, Sean, before we head into that segment.
Well, yeah, you said you done some work. You did a pit trading card. Did you have any like interactions with
nice.
Dale? Did you?
No, I got that through Chance. Chance was a buddy of Dale, and so
Yeah.
when I was working with Chance, that just opportunity came up, and he said, "You want to draw some pit cards?" I'm like, "Yeah, why? Hell yeah!" So I did some of that through the company that Dale was working with in Australia, and yeah, that was a great opportunity. Though that was, I mean, talk about working on one of your dream books. Pit was like it.
Oh,
for me.
yeah.
Sure.
God, I did like 4 of those cards, so I never got to actually draw Pitt himself, but I drew all the other cool stuff. So
Okay, yeah, still good. Yeah.
No, I was just say that's still good. My only claim to fame, which is not fame at all, but the things I like to point to is when I was, I don't know, 13, maybe 12 or whatever. I had a piece of fan art that was actually printed in the back of Pit number 12. Now I look at it today and I'm just like, oh man, that sucks. But at the time I thought it was great, you know, and I sent it to Dale, and I used to write to Dale all the time, the Full Bleed Studios and stuff, and he would write back when I was a kid. And I thought that was just the coolest thing in the world. And I sent him this piece of art, and he actually printed it, or you put it in the letter section, you know, in page 12 or issue 12. And I remember reading that and going to the letter section and seeing that for the first time. And I was just like on cloud 9. Like it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me at, 12 or 13, however old I was. I was like showing my parents. I'm like, oh, this is it, like, so yeah, I loved Pit.
You're like, I'm paying the mortgage this month, Ma.
Yeah. You're like, I'm on my way.
So
Get ready, everybody.
Did you want to draw comics from that point on, or did you? I know you went into rock and roll for a while.
Yeah,
So.
well, I wanted to draw before that. I really got into comics around like 10 years old, as far as like really heavy wanting to draw comics, and like that's all I wanted to do. And I did that through most of my teen years. It wasn't until my mid-20s that I got into the band life, and that was just kind of circumstances. I trying to break into the industry, having stuff happen in my personal life that sent me south, and like that just kind of I grew up with a bunch of musicians, we were in a small town in the middle of nowhere in Michigan, and I just happened in that town were some of the best guitar players and drummers that I'd ever met, and like serious talents. So they kept going on with music, and so in their 20s, I'm trying to break into comics, they're trying to break into the industry, and I just kind of fell back into them, into that scene. And I'd been in garage bands with them when I was a teenager and stuff like that, so I just kind of picked it up and got into it. I was actually pretty successful there for a while on an indie scene. So yeah, it was, but yeah, at that point, I wanted to be into comics, and that was my goal. So seeing that printed in the back of Pit 12 was, just a big motivation, and I just kept on going from there. Unfortunately, wasn't able to break in though.
Oh man. Well, you're doing it now, man. That's all that matters.
Yeah, now we're doing it, like the whole thing with the crowdfunding stuff, and we'll definitely talk about that, like with your campaign, what we're doing, or what you're doing with your campaign, what Sean's doing. It's still a great time, right? You're never too old to draw. Well, maybe that's you have a lot of time to be able to draw before you can, so like there's a lot of things in life I was able to do in my youth, where now I can kind of sit down. I have a family, but this is a job that I can actually focus on drawing, and now I'm just doing what I love, my original passion. So life is good. I can't complain on that.
Yeah, the whole crowdfunding thing, it's a whole new way that you can fulfill your comic book dreams. Anybody can do it. You just have to be passionate and hardworking, and it'll happen. Eventually.
Yeah,
I just saw a buddy of mine just finished his Indiegogo, and it didn't fund it. It's like, fuck, because you feel bad for your friends, but he was like, I'm going to assess the situation, figure out what to do next, maybe do a different platform, and then kind of go from there and see how it works out. Like that's the best you could do for anything. Like it may not work this way, try something else out with it, and figure it out.
That's life. If you failed the first time, don't let that stop you. Learn from that and stand up and hit harder next time.
Yeah. And I have faith that he's going to rock and roll, because he's a tremendous talent. But yeah.
Sheldon Martin, member of the channel, is in the house. He says, Joe, you're in Pit 12 now. I need to dig through my comics to check that out. Yeah, do it. And if you find it, let me know. It's not the greatest drawing in the world, but I was proud of it at the time.
Send it to him so he can autograph it for you and do a remark.
I will do that. Yeah. Send it to me. I'll absolutely do that. Sheldon Martin's in the house, so we got to play this.
Hiking isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
Yes, sir. You know it.
So I want to say hail chat, because I haven't done that before, and I've always wanted to do that on your show. So hail chat.
Yes, hail the chat. Let's go.
Nice.
Love it.
Group of guys out there, I just know it, and girls. So
yeah. We're very lucky. We got a good group that hang out with us. So
yeah, we got
very blessed.
Great group of regulars are in the chat. Yeah, we got a lot of artists that come in the chat, other creators as well. So we're in a very niche subject. Like a lot of people like to talk about pop culture and or drama stuff or whatever, and that's fine. You get following the stuff. There aren't that many people that purely want to sit in and talk about comics and arts and whatever, but the people that do show up and support this channel, and that's what we love about them. So shout out to the chat for sure.
They embrace my, hey, you remember when you drew that? That was cool.
Speaking of great artists, we have Roy in the house.
What's up, Roy?
Yeah, what you want?
What you really, really want?
Oh, I get what you're saying. All right, it makes sense. Yeah, like I said, speaking of great artists on cue, Roy jumps in. Dude, it's fantastic. And this is the thing, Patrick, if you've watched this for a while, we have a sick list, artists that make us sick, and that's the highest compliment we can give to an artist, is to say that they make us sick with their art. Roy is definitely one of them for sure.
Yeah. There's some of his opinions, but that's on a different level. No, we love Roy. He's
okay. Let's jump into Battle Beast real quick. And Patrick, you said
you got it. Okay.
Yeah, I've got if when I can bring it up, I'll bring it up just because I like the layout of Kindle better than any other platform, because I can get it really big.
Whatever works. Okay.
Clip that. But you said you read this, right, Patrick? And both you guys, what are your opinions on this book? We're not going to do the normal kind of dive into the story as we do. We'll talk about the story. It's a very simple story, guys, so we don't have to really cover everything. We'll look at some of the art, talk about the story. But what were your first impressions of this, the Invincible universe coming back, Kirkman, Otley, and doing the Battle Beast thing?
Oh man, for me, I met Kirkman back when he was promoting Battle Pope. Remember when he did that?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
back in like '98, we were both at the Chicago convention. We had booths right next to each other, so I got to
Nice.
talk with him and everything. So years later, I was like, that's that guy. When he did Walking Dead, and I was like, oh my god! So it's been so cool seeing him blow up, become huge. And but yeah, Battle Beast is a great start. I mean, that guy knows how to write some fun comics. You know?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. I love the Invincible universe. It's cool they're bringing back a cool, fun character.
Yeah.
People like him now because of the cartoon that haven't been, familiar with him, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Fun romp.
Those covers, that cover by Dave Finch that he painted blew my mind.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I they only had well, if they did have that cover, it was sold out. So this was the only cover I could get.
Wow.
The regular cover was the only one I got at the LCS. But yeah, it was kind of cool. Like they could have brought Invincible back. They could have done something with the main character. But I think coming and revisiting the universe and taking a popular character that was in and out of the series and telling more stories with them was probably the right way to go. Because it's not, you're not going over like, we've done that. We told the story, of Invincible. Like, let's tell the story about some of these other side characters. And maybe they'll do that with, going forward with other, characters as well. But I do like how the book picks up from I don't know what issue it is, but they kind of just recap the first appearance that he had where he just beats the shit out of everybody in the Invincible book.
It's such a smart way to transition from the Invincible comic to this comic. Everybody try to remember that scene, and they're like, "Yeah, this is what happened right after that." So, way to go by Kirk.
Yeah, and if you are a fan of the book or have the book or the trade or whatever, you go back and read this whole issue and then just jump right into Battle Beast because it picks right. You could transition perfectly, like Patrick was saying. It was a smart way of starting the book out.
And they're all like, "What an asshole!"
Yeah, just like sure.
You guys are not even worthy of me killing you. And they're like,
cool spaceship. Nice.
Did Corey create Battle Beast? Corey who?
I don't know. The original Corey Walker, the
original
illustrator, creator,
he was on
co-creator,
the
whatever of Invincible.
I don't think so. I think he came in later. I think Battle Beast was later in the series. I think.
Well, how many issues did he even do before Otley came in?
Like less than 10.
It wasn't a lot.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And it was so. I read all the trades that my friend loaned me once for Invincible, all at once, and it was so cool seeing Ryan Otley grow from like this new guy to like getting better and better and better with every issue. That is fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep,
really cool.
Yeah, I do like the spaceship, all the stars and everything, the shot of the Earth. To utilize a splash page with no text, just this. It was, that's nice. That's clever. I like it.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often.
Yeah, you don't need narration panels or anything. It just works, You
have a very kind of like a throwback Star Wars-ish, nod of a cap with some of the design, So I think that's cool too when you're bringing that kind of pop culture into comics or,
covered in
culture.
Yeah. Covered in blood and filth and everything too.
Yeah.
He's so mad. I love it.
So in the story, he hijacked this ship and basically what they say they did. They took him to Earth because they thought he was their worthy opponents, but he ended up killing everybody. And then he was pissed off because the place where he took him to was not really a challenge at all, and because he whooped everybody's ass. And his whole idea, obviously, is to find a worthy opponent to fight. Essentially, there's somebody that could kill him because it's what he's all about. He's all about the battle, all about that's all he can do. He has no other purpose in life. 10, I think. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Roy just said 10. I think they did the covers for a while though. Okay,
I believe you're right. And then it turns out the spaceship's like a murder ship. It's like, oh, they're in sync. Like their ideals are the same.
Well, what I thought was cool about you have this scene where he's like devouring all the corpses and stuff. Where he's like, usually I'd eat live things, but it'll do what it has to do as he's on this journey. But the ship, it's funny. It's a sentient ship, much like any sci-fi ship would be, and it's starting to kind of talk to him as like the new master, the new ruler of the ship or whatever. But the funny thing is that the ship hates him because it kills his crew. We find that out towards the end of the book.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of a funny twist on it, where he's just like, hey, at this point, find me a worthy opponent, go through your database, find me someone to fight, and he gives kind of the backstory here where he brought peace to his planet, and after the peace he couldn't survive in it and had to leave because he needed that, he was something to match his rage, and he couldn't find it on his home planet anymore. Roy said Wyatt was on digital webbing before and during his run on Invincible and would show us the original pencils. Watching him go from indie stuff to that was cool.
Oh, that's rad. That's so cool.
Yeah, that is cool,
That's
man.
Cool.
That's cool.
That's badass.
Flashback to his origin planet there. That's kind of cool to learn a little bit more about his past.
Yeah, they utilize it with just one page, but they get a lot in there, and they show, just him again. I don't know what made Battle Beast specifically so powerful, even amongst his people, but he obviously, there was no one equal to him on even his planet,
The thrill.
I like how the blood is all over the comic page too, out of the gutters, not on the top and stuff. It's like just blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said, I entitled this a glorious gore fest of a comic, and it wasn't. This is the kind of comic that's just the way comic should be, in my opinion. It's just fun books, fun entertainment for 15, 20 minutes, however long it takes you to read. Something you can get lost into the fantasy world. This is This is pure action. There's nothing deep about this book. It's just like, let's follow this guy, see him do awesome fights, and I think this appeals to a lot of comic book readers because it's the mindless kind of fun stuff you just want to sit down and watch or sit down and read. And they nail it in this. They know this genre, and they did it to a T.
Yeah.
I like the banter between them going back. They're like, "You're doing this, blah 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 blah." He's like, "Yes, blah 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 blah, yes." And then this, yes. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, it's like, you're mad all the time and are always ready to fight. Yes. So you just want to travel through space looking for the biggest and most brutal fights. Yes. And your goal here is to find an opponent powerful enough to test your might that will potentially actually beat you. And it's just like, yeah, like, it's pretty simple, but I like that,
I respect him.
Yeah, it's a very, the whole honor, like, I'm a badass. I know it. I need to find somebody that can match me and eventually, have that worthy death of an opponent that can put me in the ground. And it's just a very simple life that he leads. Go around killing people until somebody can kill him. I dig it.
Yeah, I really like Ryan Otley's use of like moving the camera around and picking his shots and stuff. He's just a really great storyteller, and I know that's part Kirkman too. But it's like, really good storyteller. And it's neat to see that.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Yeah,
Christopher said, "I like the purple monster that Battle Beast fought." Yeah, that's a cool design too. Battle Beast is just straight hands. It's just straight hands. The Otley's inker. Oh, is that Otley's inks, or does it kind of look like the pencils? No, he has an inker on the book.
Does he do it himself?
Well, let me see. I thought they credited an inker on here.
Oh, I thought he inked it.
Yeah,
that's what I thought too. But let me just look. I might be losing it here. Nope, I'm losing it. I was looking at the colors. Yep, that's right. That's
Ryan Otley.
Okay. I was just gonna say, because he usually just inks himself, but for some reason I thought I saw an inker on here, and I was wrong.
Yeah, and I heard it's none of it's digital. He does a little enhancement digitally, but it's all drawn on boards. So that's good.
Yeah, and I gotta respect that, and no shade to the digital artists out there, Sean. I love you guys, but I do love the traditional pen and paper, or pencil pen and paper inks or whatever. There's just something about it that looks just more organic, obviously. And I like that he hasn't gone to the digital stuff. I don't mind some digital enhancements here or there. Throw it into Photoshop or throw it into Clip or whatever you want to do. Add some things. Got no problem with that. But I do like the straight to paper and do it by hand.
Well, I got no problem with you having no problem how I do what I do when I do it.
I like it. I like it.
Cool.
Yeah, I only switched to digital just the last 2 years when I started inking myself. But it's cool because when you're drawing digitally, it's like you're drawing with a pencil. You can erase it, you can draw over it, you can do whatever you want. And there's just a lot more tools at your disposal besides just paper and the pencil. But I do still love seeing a great piece of original art on a board.
Oh yeah.
Nothing better.
Heath Ward was asking if anybody got the blind bag. I did not. I don't think my LCS even brought them in, because I asked the guy about it, and he said he had heard of it, but it didn't seem like it was something that they brought in. But I know people were getting like issue 2. People were getting the exclusive sketch covers that was original art that they put out into some of the blind bags. Was it Blue Boy, right? Blue Boy Comics said he got a blind bag and it had the original, one of the original sketch covers of Otley. And it's just, their promotion of this book is fantastic. I hope I can get some of those blind bags. I don't know if my store is going to bring them in or not. I'll probably miss out on it, but it was a great idea.
Dude, thank God for Kirkman, and all his buckloads of money that he's able to promote and produce the comic books how he does. Because this is exciting, like indie guys like us can't do it yet, but that's an exciting way to get numbers up. And they sold over 400K,
400,000 copies of issue 1. They did have a lot of covers. Don't get me wrong. They had a lot of covers like a lot of books do, but the blind bag thing was something I haven't really heard of yet as far as the way that they did it. And I think that was a really unique way to kind of promote this. So I'd be interested to see what sales on number 2 were.
Like I know friends of ours that do it for convention stuff where they do boxes or other blind bags, and that does very well for them where they put in sketches or prints or whatever random comic books. But now you're taking it to more of a mass market avenue, so which is awesome.
Lord Tateman said I brought the blind bag and got issue 2. Nice, man.
Nice.
That's awesome.
The beautiful job they did on the cape. That cape up there is so well.
Yeah.
It's flowing. Really, really great job on that.
Flow on a cape to me is amazing, which is why I like capes so much. Obviously my character's got a hood and a cape, but just the reason why I chose to do more of a cape thing is because you can do so much visually with it that's fun and interesting, just to add that energy, to add that motion to the page. And with this book, I like that they really leaned into the art. There's a lot of splash pages in here. They didn't kind of shy away from that. They're like, let's give the readers what they want. Besides the action and the blood, they gave some really good, just let the art breathe with these. Again, another splash page with no dialogue on it. Awesome. Just let the image speak for itself as he arrives on this planet, getting ready to try to fight another, powerful being that could possibly take him out. And it works really well. Just that kind of silent page there.
Yeah, great contrast. Yeah. Oh yeah, colors are beautiful. Yeah.
Colors are great on this too. Yeah.
Like Kirkman went wild on the lettering or the scripting in the beginning, and then we get to this.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, because I don't like to read.
He backed off on the action. They do talk. No, there is a lot of scripting in this. There's definitely a lot of words in this. Colors are great. I got issue 2 back in 2006. Damn, dude, you can time travel too. We gotta talk, man. We gotta talk. So ultimately, he gets dropped off in this planet, and he comes up to this creature. I do like the fact that this creature kind of presents itself to be something it's not. Of course, I think everybody kind of figure that out, but I like the story behind it, with the creatures trying to pretend like it was innocently imprisoned and all this kind of stuff to get Battle Beast to break him out. And I guess he does kind of pull back on the words here until about this scene, which is wicked. Like when he finally opens his eyes and stuff, that's a really cool shot.
That's a 2-page spread right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again, like I said, they really let the art breathe in this book. They weren't messing around.
Kirkman likes doing those double page or 1-page headshots. I was just rereading the Infinite the other day, and there's a bunch of those in there.
Yeah, that's a neat choice. Cool design on that face too.
Yeah.
I agree.
Almost like a black poster.
Yeah.
Interesting shadow there.
Yeah. The colors did. Annalisa Leone, I think is her name or his name.
I haven't heard of the name, but the added shadows, because this was not there in the original art. I mean, you can see the original art, and that's all colors.
Yeah,
that kind of shadows there, and that's probably, I'm assuming, his cape, Battle Beast's cape and stuff, just kind of flowing in the wind there. That's what I would assume it is.
Right.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like a Jim Henson movie. Like you got the what are you doing here? Knock, knock, knock. And then
right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Labyrinth.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. the secret.
Yeah.
And I love how the entire time this thing is just talking, and Battle Beast is just staring at him. You know, just like, when are you gonna be done talking?
Get to the fighting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a good use of expression on his face too. Battle Beast, so he's got one tooth out, just kind of looking pissed off and annoyed. Really cool looking.
Yeah,
and the same thing with this creature. You know, the way that you depict his face as he's talking, the different expressions on this character's face. You know, he's very at least got a little bit of that cartooniness to him, which I never know how to like properly like kind of explain. I mean, obviously, Sean, you guys know what I'm talking about, but
animated.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little bit more playful in some ways. To the art.
Look at that mouth. It's got like different shapes going on all over it.
Yeah.
Joe has this a lot too with mouths. He's so good at designing mouths that are interesting shapes and not just what you normally expect to see, Really interesting.
Oh, Otley would be perfect to pick up for body bags. His stuff fits perfectly. I haven't read that book before.
I have not as well. I've seen some images. Look dope.
Yeah, I've seen covers and stuff, but I've never actually read it. Yeah, there's subtle humor in this. It's brutal of a book, and it's all about blood and gore and all this kind of stuff. There's the subtle humor, and again, I actually have never really read the Invincible series. I missed it, like I was saying before we went live. It came out in a time when I wasn't really doing comics, and I know a lot about it. I've seen a lot of art from the comics, but I've never really gone and gotten an omnibus or anything like that. So I know Kirkman's writing from other books, so I don't know if this humor was kind of in the Invincible series as well. Or if this was kind of okay, so it's just kind of his style.
Yeah.
You know what's neat about Kirkman is that he could be sitting on his yacht right now, drinking Mai Tais with all sorts of groupies around him for all his success on Walking Dead, but he's still writing comic books. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
He loves comics, and you can.
I was just gonna say, that shows someone that loves what they're doing. You know.
I got a funny story. So this is New York Comic Con.
Yeah, tell it. I'll be right back.
Okay, 2000 maybe 16 or so. So I'm me and a couple of friends were hanging behind Liefeld's table. We're hanging out with him, and Bob's working on the commission. And suddenly this big shadow, comes walking over, and we all kind of look up, and it's Kirkman, and he's looking through Rob's portfolio, and he's like, how much is that one right there? And then Rob Liefeld goes, you can't afford that. And then Kirkman's like, I have people that can kill you, right? And then they just start bantering off, and it was just really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you could buy everything in that portfolio if you wanted to.
Yeah. It's cool because, the guy's so successful and lived the comic book dream, but he's just still that guy, still that nerdy guy from when I guess he was a kid to a young adult, just doing what he does. It's awesome.
Yeah, because even when you're successful like that, money just brings out who you really are. And if who you are is somebody who loves comics, you just have more opportunity to play in that world still,
Yeah. For me, it would be debauchery, just sandbox and blowing strippers. But no, man. Oh, man.
Yeah, it'd be tempting for sure. But I think you have to go back to comics eventually. So
Yeah.
But that's cool. Yeah, how often have you been to the New York Con? That's really awesome. You got to go there.
Well, I'm from North Jersey, so Manhattan was my stomping grounds. So
nice.
I haven't been to the past 4. Well, since 2019. No, 2019 was the last one I went to.
Nice.
But that's how I met Joe in person, because my brother-in-law was the original on the first rendition of Reaper Destroyer.
Yeah.
And me and Joe just hit it off like friends from kids, from Sandbox days, and we mostly hung out that day. And my brother-in-law was behind us while we were looking at everything and being like, "Hey, that's cool, and similar likes, and just why does this guy live closer?"
Yeah.
He's East Coast too, right, Joe? You're in the East Coast.
No, I'm in Michigan. Yeah, I'm out in Michigan. Yeah, so a little ways, about 12 hours away.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Nice.
This when he lets this monster out, I think it's awesome because this monster's just he's thinking he's badass. He's like, "Ha, I just tricked you. I'm really, the scourge of whatever." And now everyone's gonna dying. I'm bringing death, and Battle Beast is like, I don't really care. Like, I let you out for a reason. Let's go, and just
Anatomy on that monster.
yeah,
So good.
and then just instantly into the fight. He says, I know your story, Tyrant. I didn't free you because you tricked me. I know your power, and I want it, all of it. I love that.
That's awesome. Yeah,
That's good writing. That's good writing, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, smash
That's
this.
comic books. Yeah.
Here comes the gore.
Yeah, now we're getting into it.
That's
That's
beautiful.
beautiful shot.
I love the lettering. I love Russ Wooten's letters. I believe he does Savage Dragon as well.
Holy
That looks familiar. Okay, yeah.
Holy,
Oddly
does
kind of
some-
reminds me of Larson a little bit. A little bit. He's got some Larsonisms,
Sure.
like
sure,
old
sure.
Larson, not current Larson.
No, yeah, I'm with it.
that's great lettering. Very cool.
Yeah, I like that shot too.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh,
The whole fight scene was fun. Like the epic scale of this creature, the impact was really felt. I like that they give you a sense that maybe this guy is a little bit of imposing to Battle Beast with just a little damage. You don't want to make Battle Beast too strong, otherwise it's not fun. He's going to beat these guys. We got to give him something, somewhat of a fight.
Yeah. It's nice that they establish him being this powerful early on, though, because he will come across some fights from the next issues. I think that will be more tense. That he'll get a challenge eventually.
Yeah, I hope so. Do we know how many issues this is going to be? This is not an ongoing, is it?
I don't know. I know he's been working on it for a long time, just putting in
okay.
issues. But I have no idea. I
Interesting.
hope it's at least a year's worth of books.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blue Boy says loving the book. More like Simmonson's lettering. I got you.
Yeah. Very similar. Yeah. Boom.
Yeah. And so, I mean, go get the book, guys. And I think a lot of you, it seems like, have read the book, which is awesome. So you can go read the actual dialogue. And a lot of this is just, kind of banter back and forth. I like that this character is pretty pompous on himself. He's pretty, haughty on the fact that he thinks he's the shit, because, I mean, he's the scourge or whatever, destroyed all these worlds and stuff. And he's not taking Battle Beast serious at all at the moment. And I like the fact that, he's the only one really doing a lot of the talking. I like that about this scene. Battle Beast is basically just going to business, and this dude is just talking his ear off, really.
Slice his fingers off. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my only complaint, is that there are some of these, like, this doesn't matter. This doesn't worry me too much. You're not covering up stuff, but there is a lot of dialogue in this, and this is kind of crowded. It's a lot of dialogue to have. It's just kind of crowded with that. We can see what's going on. I have no problem with it, but just sometimes, maybe a little less words.
Writers.
Christopher said, I just bought the Advanced Battle Beast 2 on eBay, and there's a total of 5 issues on right now. Sweet. Thank you, man.
Okay. Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you for answering that question. Appreciate it. I love so this is what I like about Otley's art, is he can have that kind of cartoony animated feel, but then he can also go in and do a lot of the cross hatching and grit and texture and detail as well. On these characters. He doesn't do it all the time, and he doesn't do it with every character. It's not on Battle Beast. There's a distinct difference between this character and the way that Battle Beast is rendered out and drawn.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool. It definitely makes this character stand out and a little bit more gritty in his visual. So I noticed that when I was first reading it.
Yeah, I like how he does like the cross hatching coming out of the blacks, but he also has white hatching going into the blacks. That's really good.
Yeah.
That touch. Beautiful work.
I don't know if that's digital or he's just really good with his Proco.
That might have been something he did
Nice.
digitally. Scanned it in there and just did some of the highlights, because it probably is a little easier to do it digitally. Now, a really good inker, and I'm sure Otley could do this, can go in with a white pen or something like that to bring that stuff out fairly easily. But yeah, maybe.
I just saw Sandra Hope was just working on, I believe it's
she's so good.
piece, and she was just freehand and doing whites for like a power effect, like on I think a Wonder Woman piece.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm just like, you are so talented. You make me
She's so
sick.
good.
Yeah.
she's so good.
It's fun watching a good inker work. It's
Yeah.
It is.
to watch. Yeah.
I've said it before, like I love watching artists draw, but there's something very, very relaxing to watching an inker ink, whether it's
Yep.
with a brush or a quill. There's just something about that. I just like Richard Friend. I used to love it when he used to do inking on his channel. I used to watch his stuff all the time, and it was just loved it. You know,
like you were saying earlier with Joe Weems, that all the best inkers are really good artists themselves. You know,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
what looks good. That's
Yep.
why they're so great at inking. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's not a must, but I do think you're right, and I agree with you that if they know how to draw, they're probably going to be really, really good at inking. For whatever reason, it didn't work out as an artist for them, or they didn't get their opportunity. But that, yeah, if you can find an inker that knows how to draw, it's even better. You know, because they can embellish your work, they can bring your work out, and be very respectful to your line work as well. Like when I look at my stuff inked by a professional inker, I can see my work completely. It doesn't look like somebody else. It looks like my stuff. But then I can also see all the stuff that they added or did things different within their style. And that's just, like that's how a good inker works.
Oh yeah. You look at Alex Garner, who inked J. Scott Campbell forever. Now he's a brilliant painter of covers.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was side tangent on that. I always thought that was my favorite I've ever seen Campbell was when he was being inked by Alex Garner.
Yeah.
That era, I thought they made such a great team.
Yep.
That I like Campbell's work as he went on and started doing his own inking and stuff like that. But when they worked together, that early Gen 13 run was just some of the best work of Campbell's career. Just the polish on it was just beautiful, and that was because of Alex Garner.
When you get a team like that, like John Byrne and Terry Austin, or Jim Lee and Scott Williams, it just works on a different level. That synergy.
Yeah, I agree. There were maybe 100 at plus at any given time. Yeah, I gotta see if I can even get a grab bag. Probably not. Probably all sold out. There needs to be a 3-issue mini of Battle Beast vs. Pitt. Issue 1 and 3 drawn by Otley, but an oversized number 2 by Keown. Let's manifest it. Speak it into the ether. Let's go.
That'd be nice.
Hey, we've said before, we take all the credit of getting Brett Booth on Spawn. Because we were the ones that started, we started talking about it years ago, and then it happened, so we take all the credit. Yeah.
I love it when you have him on. That's another guy that leveled up so big. He's just so amazing now.
Oh, that's our guy.
Oh, that's a fact. Yeah. Brett, and besides that too, he's just such a cool dude. Such a cool dude. Dale doesn't want to draw Pitt anymore. Yeah, it kind of seems like Dale, Dale's done his drawing. I think Dale has done his sequential storytelling, and maybe he's got some stuff left in him. I think he's just hanging out, having a good time, doing some covers and stuff, and that's where he's feel comfortable right now. So, more power to him. That sucks for us, so I'd love to see some more, but I get it. Biting down on his arm to break free is realistic street fighting shit. Yeah, this was a fun scene. I paused this on here because just one, I saw the original art that Otley put up for this page, and it just looks beautiful in black and white because you can really see all of the rendering that he does on this arm, and it kind of gets covered up with the colors and the lettering. When you see it just in the black and white on its own, this is just such a gorgeous looking piece of art.
Do you guys know if Greg Capullo is going to do more Creech comics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's working on Creech 3 right now.
Yeah.
I don't know when it's going to come out.
So good.
He's digitally inking it. This is just my opinion.
He is.
I think no. Well, here. Wait till.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me actually hear the opinion. My bad.
I feel he needs a real inker. There's something.
Yeah.
With the Photoshop brushes he's doing way better than anything that I could do. Don't get me wrong, but like, I think he needs like a Glapion or a JP Meyer or Mickey, like, because there's something like his pencils are still.
He needs someone to add some grit.
Yeah, he needs that dirt. Like shout out to Jay-Z, like put that dirt on your shoulder. Like there's something missing just seeing, but you know what? The book's not done yet. It's not colored, it's not lettered. I haven't read it yet, so I gotta kind of hold off that opinion. But
well, and he's changed his style over the years. Like he's far from the Spawn style. He's even far from the like Court of Owls style. Like he's constantly evolved. His stuff has gotten cleaner and cleaner over the years. And it's probably easier, faster to draw, and I get it.
Sure.
But with the Creech, when you're going back and revisiting the Creech, which is always that dark, gritty art style, it would have been kind of cool to see him kind of revert back to that, or at least, like Sean was saying, bring out an inker that could add some more of that into it, so you got a little bit more of the feel. I think Creech 3 is going to be fine. I'm looking forward to it, but it's definitely not the 90s or early 2000s Creech.
Oh, and I thought John Ethel posted that thing on Facebook earlier. That was the Creech cover. I just have to stare at it every time I see that stuff.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Oh, the trade. Yeah. Oh, we'll be talking about that sometime soon. But yeah, I love that.
Yeah, we'll do an entire breakdown of the Creech when that gets close to actually getting out, when he actually is going to release it. We'll do a whole series on all 6 books on art and stuff for that.
I'll be watching.
Nice.
YSA's in the house. He said, "Hey guys, just read the issue 2 days ago. So far, it's fun." Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Nice.
And
one of our sick friends.
Yeah, very sick artist. Very sick. I love this panel too. Now we're getting into the thick of the fight as he's doing this gnawing, like Halo Lore was saying, gnawing this dude's arm off to get free. I just love the progression of it, and just the look on Battle Beast's face. That's feral, as he's just ripping into the flesh. Love it.
Yeah, I love how he's pulling his hair back and his mouth's getting ripped back.
Yeah, yep. He's like trying to pull him. He's trying to pull him off, showing the pain. He's just like, yeah, that's so good.
He's not letting go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Dude, a lot of green blood going on.
Yeah, I like it. It's there's so much red blood in the Invincible series. It's kind of fun to see a different color. And I don't know why, but I always liked creatures like Pitt, who had pink blood. This creature has green blood. Like, it's kind of fun to see different species have different colors, like kind of the Predator, right? The Predator had green blood. I think that was always cool.
Yep.
I don't know why. Visually, though, it's just something I always enjoyed seeing. Instead of just red blood all the time for everybody.
Probably because as a kid you were a sicko like me and you would rip apart like lightning bugs.
I definitely killed some lightning bugs.
Yeah.
Total anime first panel there. It just looks right out of an anime.
Yeah.
So cool.
AZHQ said true, Booth and Regula. Yeah, Regula was really good. That combination was really good. I do like Booth and Adelso. Booth and Ratman was really good as well. Like, Booth has worked with some really good inkers.
Yeah.
Well, if not Dale, then what about Nick Klein?
Love Nick Klein stuff.
He does like a He-Man type of book, right?
He did Hulk for a while. Hulk and Thor before that.
Oh, okay.
My thing,
really good.
My thing with that is I don't want to see anybody else drop it.
Yeah.
As much as other artists could do a great job, I don't want to see that's Dale's character, right? Like, I want to see if there's gonna be a Pit story. I want to see him drawn by Dale. Like, that's just a personal preference of mine,
Yeah, I hear you totally.
I love how, though, he not only does he gnaw the arm off, I like the writing here where now he turns the arm into a weapon. Now that he's got this massive arm and this claw, he's using it now to attack him. Like, that's some fun writing. I like that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Hey, Shadow Punk's in the house. Good to see you, brother.
No, brother.
Says his artwork looks killer. Yes, sir, it does. Hopefully you go out and buy Battle Beast #1. It was a hell of a fun read.
Yep.
By the way, we have over 100 people watching. Got 113 over on X and 18 here in the chat. Love you guys. Shout out to the Core 20. Appreciate you guys. Wherever you're at, hit the like button, share it out. Let people know that we're here live. And if you get a chance, and if you're not, go over to the YouTube channel, subscribe, like, share, do all those fun things, help grow the channel. We are looking at Battle Beast #1 with special guest Patrick Blaine, which we're going to look at his campaign here in just a second after we get through this book.
And also go to other people's live shows and drop our link. Like, even if they're on like whatnot, be like, hey, leave this show, stop by comics and go with that and stuff.
You let us take the heat for it. But at least people will be like, okay, I know the name. I know the name. This scene is pretty cool because this dude is still thinking he's badass, even though he's getting cut to shit with his own weapon here. Yeah. And even to the end, I love this where you were getting the realization, and this is, this has been done in movies before, but I still like the way that they pulled it off, where this guy is thinking he's badass, but you're seeing the reaction as he's realizing what's going on. You see this determined look the Battle Beast knows what he's done, and he's just waiting for this dude to realize that he's dead. That's cool.
What an interesting choice to not show it, not to show the blow. It's an interesting choice to narratively.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what old anime movies, right? Where you do that slice,
Yes.
and then the character takes a couple steps and then falls down and the body falls in half, it's that kind of tropey thing.
Right.
But it's good. It works when it's executed right. It's always a cool thing to see. I don't know where it started, but I know it's definitely a cool thing. And we get to see, he just sliced right in half,
Yeah, there he is. Just falling out.
Yep.
Crazy. Another big dude.
Christopher Bouchard says, I hope to see your Reaper Destroyer booth cover soon. Yeah, I'm going to show that off here soon, guys. The mailing list for Reaper Destroyer 2 is going to drop in the next couple weeks, and I will definitely show off the Brett booth cover when that happens.
Nice.
Looking awesome, by the way.
Who's inking that?
Marlo inked it.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, Marlo's the inker on the book, so I was like, hey, how about you ink up the Brett booth cover? And he was like, bet. So he did it, fucking knocked it out of the park. Did a great job.
Great inker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm so excited to be working with him on this book. So getting into the end of this here, he says, if I am to die, it is enough that I do so freely on my own back, looking at the stars. For that, at least, I thank you. Ken, it's funny. Like, he's like, okay, I'm done. You beat me. A little bit of honor. And Battle Beast is like, you were imprisoned on this world for thousands of years. Tales of your might have grown into legend during that time. The legends were wrong. It's just like straight disrespect. It's no like good battle, respect you. It's just like, no, you're not a worthy opponent. I'm walking away and you're dying. Like, I love that. Just utter disrespect and what a great shot.
Bringing his arm with him.
Yeah. Taking the arm, and then just, I don't know what it is. Like, I love the rendering on this, the depth. Yeah, just that is so good. And then you get the twist. Another splash page here, but you get the twist. So earlier in the book, this creature told a fib that he was really a prince of some planet, and like his sister or something imprisoned him here in this rock, and that he was like this innocent person. So now that this creature is dead, we get this little Independence Day kind of creature, crawling out of his guts, and he starts recanting that entire story. He's like, I am the prince, heir to the whatever throne, and you have felled a great enemy of mine. And so kind of telling this story like it was true. And you're kind of wondering, like, what's Battle Beast going to do? I do like the writing, the twist on all of this. Where at first I thought he was just going to kind of like squish him or something, just take him out and kill him. And we actually see, oh man, again, I forgot about this splash page.
Yeah.
I think this was a double page splash. Yeah. Cool. Again, they and I'll say it for the fifth time, they really went all out and let the art breathe in this book and gave us some really scale worthy shots here of the planet, and just really get you immersed in this world. Such a good job. So he takes him back, and it's like, okay, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, this is an interesting story. Like, maybe they're going to give him a sidekick. He's going to go on a mission, and that might be what it is. But I like the computer is, I wager you are deeply disappointed as I am to see that you have survived this encounter. I will search my database to find someone or something more deadly at once. He's like, see as you do. And he's like, who is that? And at first he's like talking about the arm. He's like, I need some sustenance, it's food for the trip. And he's like, no, I was talking about the little dude on your shoulder. He's just like, more food.
He needs to invest in some refrigeration units or something.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And so I had that got me a laugh when I was reading the book, because I was at first I was like, okay, this could be an interesting story. You're showing a little bit of humanity to the character, gonna maybe take up this character's plight. I'm gonna go to your planet. I'm gonna free the planet. It'll bring me more fights and all that kind of stuff. He's just like, nah, this is more food.
Great punchline, man. The first issue on really cool.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. Face. Oh.
He is fucked.
Yeah, he's great. Wow. Great comic though. A lot of fun, man. It's just fun comics.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to the next few issues.
Yeah.
Hoping it's 12, but I guess somebody said it was 5. But what are you
Yeah,
gonna
Christopher
do?
was saying it was 5, so which is, it's fine,
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? That's what you say now, but then comes a Brian Johnson to take over Dale's AC/DC or Pit. The aliens body eyes, but battle beasts are even. Wait, what?
Beatier.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so I can't read.
The little tear comes out too. Oh,
yeah. You got the gulp, the tears. He's realizing like, fuck, I'm fucked. This could be one of those twins that are like eaten in the womb, or Quado.
Yeah.
Oh, Quado, Total Recall. Yeah. Yeah, when he said the guy's just food, my jaw dropped. Yeah, the same thing here. Like it made me laugh. I was like, okay, that's funny,
Yeah.
And I don't know what this was, backup books. So I'm gonna see if they got other covers here on this PDF version.
By Robert too, wasn't it? That whole backup thing. Blood and Thunder.
Probably written. I'm not sure the artist is. Let's see.
EJ Soup.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't recognize him besides Kurtman.
EJ did the original tech jacket.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, okay. So yeah, something else from Skybound coming. Blood and Thunder.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Did they have other covers? I guess they did, but they're not really blown up. That's kind of.
That's bad.
Oh, there's a cover for 2.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on here. A lot of
all those.
Oh, that's wicked.
Yeah.
That's some wicked stuff. That's cool. Okay, here we go. Unfortunately, they're not blown up, but here are all the different covers they had. So there's that David Finch painted one there.
So good.
Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah.
And then the blind bag. Yeah, I'm so disappointed. Like I heard that was happening, but I didn't pay much attention to it because I was like, all right, cool. I'll pick it up on the shelf. And then hearing all the stuff that was in it, I was like, man, I missed out on that.
I thought Dan Panosian did a cover too. That might be for issue 2, maybe. But
possibly.
Yeah, he's so good too. Amazing.
Yeah. Let's try to figure out who's who.
Yeah.
The one for cover F. Is that Adams? Is that Art Adams?
Oh, yeah, it's hard to tell. Yeah. Really, he's got nothing but great artists on this thing, though.
He can afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely went all out and did some really good. Yeah, I know that Panosian had a cover.
Right, you're right.
I love when I'm right.
Which one?
Adams.
Is it Tanya?
Oh, yeah.
J. Scott Campbell's wife?
Oh, is it?
Oh, Tanya? Yeah. I believe so.
I know she's an artist.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I know you got to have a John Boy Myers cover, though. I mean, that's a must.
He's so good too.
Good.
He's badass. We had him on the show years ago, like a couple years back, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. Now.
4 years ago.
Yeah. He was a fun interview.
He was nice. He donated a bunch of books so we could give away as giveaways for our anniversary show.
Yes,
that was so cool. Like out of the blue, we're like, holy shit.
Yeah, he was a cool dude. I did do. I got the sketch cover of the Battle Beast. I'm thinking about doing something with that at some point.
Yeah,
I got a shit ton of sketch covers I've never done anything with, but one of these days. Let's see. They got Chris Stevens cover.
Oh, Chris Stevens is amazing. I didn't see one there, but that guy is next level.
Yeah, I don't see one.
Familiar with him.
Oh, you need to find him on Instagram.
Okay.
He's like a Travis Charest level guy.
Okay.
Oh.
They just need to throw a 3-breasted chick too. Yeah, throwing a 3-breasted chick.
Always.
That would be great. That would you call it a battle breast. Now you're thinking.
I like your ideas.
I like your ideas. Yeah, that's great. That is great. That was Battle Beast #1, guys, by Kirkman and Ryan Otley. I thought it was very fun. Just a very action-packed, gore-fest, simple, fun comic. The way comics should be. Definitely go out and check it out if you guys haven't. And we'll be doing issue 2 when that comes out at some point as well. I think this is a series we'll follow Much like we got to do the new Batman book that's coming out. That might have to be a special show we do. I wanted to do it this week, but it's just me and my daughter for the next couple of days. So it was hard enough to just do one show, let alone tell her I was like, I got to do multiple shows. So like, we'll do it next week sometime. We'll look at Batman 160.
Sure.
But while that's being said, and while we talked about that, let's bring this up because we have a special guest here, Patrick Blaine, who has a campaign of his own. Let's talk about this a little bit. What is this all about? Thunder Beast and 509 issue 1.
Yeah, this is my first creator-owned book solo. I'm writing it too, and it's basically an excuse for me to draw demons and dragons and gods and light, and all that fun stuff I love to draw. I love to create like cool like background stuff too, like temples and waterfalls and all that stuff. So this is all an excuse to get basically a mortal man kind of journeys into the astral realm, and when he gets there, he discovers he was a god all along, and he has to he had been cursed to go to Earth to be immortal for like 2,000 years. But now that he's in heaven, he astrally projects himself into heaven, and he starts learning that he's got all these other powers that he never knew he had. And he starts interacting with all these gods and demons, and there's a war in heaven that's spilling over onto the Earth, and all that kind of fun stuff. Just it's kind of like Thor meets Dragon Ball Z, sort of.
Nice.
And I want to do sexy chicks in there too, because you got to have that.
Got to have it. Yes, sir.
I've got a great colorist on it, Nestor Regula Jr. He's amazing. And it just, his work reminds me of like J.D. Smith back from the old Top Cow days.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, he's got a really.
He's not a professional, right?
Oh, he is. Yeah.
He is a professional.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
maybe I'm thinking of somebody else there. What's his last name?
Nestor Regula Jr.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. I know. I was to say I know a colorist that was. I thought it was Nestor Regula. That was when I first saw him. He wasn't a professional yet, and I always thought he was really good. And I was like, one day I think he's going to be doing this professional. That's why I asked. Yeah,
might be the same guy. Maybe now he's just a real pro. So yeah, he's great.
That could be. Yeah, that could be.
So yeah, I drew the Hex comic book for Isaac Bell.
Yes,
when that's due. And so he colored that book, and so that's why I got him to color this book as well. So nice. I just love working with him. So this is something.
Now I got to look him up while you guys are talking. Sure if it's the same guy I'm thinking of.
Might be the same guy.
Isn't such a badass piece right here.
Oh, thanks. That's the middle part of a 3-cover connected trio, and that's the star of the book and his Thunder Beast. It's called Thunder Beast 509, and the whole point is he goes. It's kind of autobiographical where I lost my dog 3 years ago, and he went after 17 years, and I always promised him that when I'd find him again in heaven, we'd have adventures as like a thunder god and his dragon beast, friend. That's awesome. We just have, because that's how I believe heaven is. You just get to fulfill whatever you had in the world if you earn it. And so this is the story of that, where the guy goes to heaven and to track down his thunder beast buddy. And that's how they look in heaven, basically, in the astral world.
It's cool. I like this, man.
Thanks, man.
I'm getting some, I'm getting like some, like Kenneth Rockerfort vibes.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah, you're very intricate detail. Beautiful.
Yeah, and I just love.
Wow, look at that. Jeez.
That's Stephen Platt just like jizzing on the fucking piece of art. That is awesome.
That's a concept art for one of the characters that comes in the next issue. But
that's a wicked design. I love the fantasy. It's funny, man. With Reaper Destroyer, I'm trying to push the book into a little bit more of a fantasy realm because I kind of, unbeknownst to me, I was adding fantasy elements in there just because of the stuff I like Lord of the Rings and all this kind of stuff. And I was kind of told to like embrace that and go into it. So I've really been kind of studying and trying to pay attention to like these really cool, wicked designs and I haven't been able to accomplish it just yet because it's a realm I need to do more studying in. But I see stuff like this, and the whole point is I see stuff like this, and it's inspiring me to go even farther into some of this and some of these designs because this is wicked, man. Like this, I love everything I'm seeing here on your designs with these characters, these creatures. Like that's such killer stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to bring back that stuff, the stuff that was influencing me back in the Top Cow days when I was there.
Yeah,
love that look, hot chicks, cool monsters, sexy heroes, and that's sort of my whole thing for doing this was just to bring some of that back.
Oh, that's badass.
Jeez Louise, that's so good.
Yeah,
Thanks,
and
bro.
I can see that where you're talking about like trying to fuse the Top Cow stuff with bringing in some of like the Dragon Ball Z or whatever elements, because it does have kind of a not really a manga feel, but I feel like
Yeah.
somebody that would like manga could see something like this and be like, man, this is badass. And I think we kind
Yeah.
of need more of that to compete with the manga
Yeah.
audience. So yeah, this is brilliant.
Thank you. I'm hugely influenced by the Chinese fantasy. It's called
Yeah.
Donghua
Oh,
anime that's happening. It doesn't. Not a lot of American people are aware of it yet, but it's a huge thing over there right now. And they do something called cultivation tales, where somebody can learn to become a god eventually. By cultivation, alchemy, sorcery,
gotcha.
all this cool stuff. And that's sort of what this is patterned after, is those kind of tales. So yeah, that's cool that you caught that it's got a lot of that Eastern influence.
Oh yeah,
This
yeah, I
would
can
be
see right
up
off.
Kayla's avenue.
Oh yeah,
If
Kayla
she,
would love
if
it.
she was
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
she'd be like, "What's your inspiration for the grass?" But no, she's perfect at that type of stuff, and she would have a ball just talking to
Oh,
her.
she's kindred spirit then for sure. 'Cause I love
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
no,
there's
I've noticed it a lot because I mean, like I said, it's stuff that I've been looking more into, just in for my own not style direction because I've kind of got my style, but just elements that I want to bring in because I'm always building onto the style, right? Like you've got your base style, but there's always things I'm going to bring in to kind of build on top of that. And I've been looking at stuff like this, specifically designs and that kind of element, because like I said, I want to enter more into that fantasy world with my character and really separate my character from like Spawn and other anti-dark heroes, and I really want to do more stuff like this. So yeah, no, that's really cool. What were you going to say about this?
here's the problem with one of the lessons I learned in my first Kickstarter is it's hard to show spreads because all the stuff I was doing was taking full advantage of 2-page spreads, like sideways and horizontally and vertically.
Right.
Like, and you just can't show the spreads. Like this is a spread right there, but you
You're
can't really
limited to the size.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. Yep.
So I did a blow up on the next image down where it's like you can see half the page isolated. But that's the style I'm drawing it in. It's kind of at the beginning part. It's kind of a gray tone with zipatone and a touch of red.
Yeah.
He's in the mortal world, which is drab and black and white. And then once he gets to where he's going, that's when it becomes a color comic book, like that Wizard of Oz moment.
God bless.
No, that's a cool concept. I like that to kind of
Yeah.
separate that
That is
and
so
that really make
beautiful.
the other realms pop with that color.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
I'm getting like if Robert Rodriguez directed this, because if you look at the whites and like what he did with Sin City,
Like I was to say, like the Sin City style of
yeah,
yeah.
this is beautiful.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. So it's just
wow.
it's
So
a
much
dream
detail.
project. Thank you so much. And I've like I said, I've learned a lot what works and what doesn't work when you're trying to market this stuff on the Kickstarter page. And I think if I need to relaunch this down the road, then I'll have a much better grasp on what works and what doesn't work. So, but
yeah. No, man, that's sick. I like. Okay, good. You did a zoom in. Good. I was about to say like I really like that, but good. There we go. Let's zoom in there.
You ever seen Alex Gray's work? He does like kind of new age, like astral. Like
I haven't. No.
I think
a lot of tool stuff has a lot of his work in it. Tool covers, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is cool, sort of influenced by that, where it's like writing the spiral into the astral realm kind of thing. And so that's his moment where he has achieved astral projection. Basically, he's writing to the afterlife and the spiral. I got a little bit of sacred geometry and the golden ratio and all that stuff. So
wow, yeah.
Jeez.
So once he gets there, he runs in. The first person he runs into is his angel, who ends up being his sister.
Who
died when he was younger. So that's kind of a personal, some autobiographical elements, but it's she gives him that scarf he's wearing and to protect him in the journey to come, kind of thing. So,
wow, that's really cool.
So I just like creating worlds. I just love creating.
Yeah, I love it.
I
love it.
Just fun.
I think we need more of that kind of stuff. Like, I know Sean and I are both into kind of creating worlds, and I'm into kind of creating lore, like my universe, not just with Reaper Destroyer, but I've got like all these different characters and stuff planned where I want to build a lore of an entire universe, entire world, you know, and like that's because that's where I come from with storytelling when it comes to like some of my favorite stories are like Lord of the Rings, you know, like and that's a big epic universe, you know, big epic its own lore that exists in. And like that's what I want to do. And I see that with this too. And it's you know, I'm generally inspired by everything you're doing here.
Thanks. Yeah, and I know you guys know what it's like when you start writing your own book. It just takes on a life of its own, and it just starts building. It becomes this thing that you're like channeling from your imagination from another place, you know. And it just if you can bring it to this world and put it on paper, that's the magic of art to me, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, everybody go check this out. We have some of our fantastic mods in here. Dropping the link in the chat. Hail the Lord is doing it. I also saw someone else as well. So shout out to the mods. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to let me pin that comment up to the top. If you guys get a chance, please check this out. At least show it around. Let people know it's out here because I think this book looks fantastic.
Twitter, Facebook groups, other people's
Sheldon,
channels.
Good question. Yeah, there's definitely boobs in the book too. There will be boobs.
Oh, nice.
There's a lot of goddesses and demons. That there's romance and all that kind of fun stuff. You couldn't have a book without some nice boobs. Top cow style.
Sheldon Martin's one that draws some good boobs as well. He's a
That's
good
true.
guy.
Oh, nice.
That is true.
Yeah,
I got Tartan Ninjas in the house. What's up? Just saw you were live on X. Yes, sir. Thank you for joining us live in the chat. Appreciate you guys. If you were watching us live on X, you can jump into the comment section on X, but might as well just come over to the YouTube channel and join the conversation. So I appreciate you being here.
We need the views.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, definitely go check this out. I think this is a great looking campaign. Fun covers. Oh, you got a trifold cover here. Nice.
Yeah, the 3 connected covers. Yeah. Then I did a painted cover that we saw at the very top there. That's a Valkyrie character that has some nude variants as well. So
there's
nude variants of both those insides with the girls. So
hell yeah, and of course you can get some booby covers, guys. You know.
Yeah, there you go. So
the nude virgin covers. I like that.
Nice.
No logos, no censorship.
That's right.
All boobs. I dig that. Yeah, beautiful work, man. Like this is awesome. Oh, black and whites. Hell yeah.
That's the artist edition that has no words and no colors. Just art.
Good call.
I think that's always a great way to go. You know, it might not be something that's appealing to everybody. It might be lower numbers, but I do believe it's a good thing to have on a lot, especially if the art's good. I don't say to do it with every book, every creator out there, but if you have really good art, really good line art, it's very fun to see the unadulterated art without the words, without the colors, just the line work. I think is a great idea.
Yeah, whenever I see David Finch or Joe Mad do stuff like that, I have to buy it because I just want to see what the art looks like before the colors. I love good colors too, but man, the black and white artwork to me is that's the thing.
Yeah, it's obviously you get the finished version with all the colors, that's all the bells and whistles, beautiful, it looks great, and then you can get the different versions that art geeks like us will love, like a black and white version or a penciled version or whatever. Like those are the fun, just kind of alternate versions of books that I've always just fallen in love with. Ever since they started making them. Oh, it is him. Yeah, same dude.
Oh, you do know Nestor. Cool. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah. We were Facebook buddies.
Yeah, Nestor actually colored some of my early work back in the late, like 2018, 2016, 2017. Yeah, when I ran across him on Instagram. And I would hit him up and be like, "Hey man, could you color?" And he's colored
the Cybernet
4 or 5 of my stuff. No, that was Dollhouse did that, but he did my Ghost Rider.
You getting heavy hitters.
Yeah, you know me, man.
In the game.
Yeah, no, he did a Ghost Rider for me, which I absolutely loved, and he did that right off my pencil. So, and I always thought he was going to go somewhere. But I had lost touch with him for a while. So good. I'm glad to see him doing some stuff, man, because he was talented back then.
Or even Marat. I think he does a lot of work. He's very fucking talented.
You guys should check out the Hex comic that he drew over me that Isaac Bell is sending out this month. He did such a great job on that. That's why I asked him to color this book too.
I think I backed the Hex comic. I believe I did. I can't remember.
There's a bunch of Isaac shit I gotta still get.
I forget sometimes everything that I backed. And sometimes I'm disappointed because I'm like, fuck, I thought I got that, and turns out I didn't.
Right.
Yeah, Isaac, we have to get back on sometime soon. It's been too long.
Yeah.
He's an awesome guy. Great
I've
artist. He's
known
got
him
that it
since-
factor to his.
Yeah.
that's a fact.
I've known him for over 20 years now through like the Rob Liefeld message board. And it's just like, he's one of the dudes where it's like, you see his work from Jump Street and to where he is now, and like all the hard work he's put into his brand and his career. It's it's really fucking awesome to be the outside source to see like him at Delso, Mark Polton. You know, it's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, I got to know Isaac back in the MySpace days. So like you said, like 20 years ago.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
Sheldon Martin for $4.99. Thank you, brother. Member of the channel says great news about the boobs. Laugh out loud. I backed. Thank you, brother.
Yes.
Back in this book. That's awesome.
Appreciate that. Invest, man. Thanks.
Yeah, shout out to you guys.
Left? Oh, you have 36
hours.
It's shit. It's almost over. Damn.
Odds are small that it's going to make the what it needs to make. But this is a great opportunity to get people to know about it. And when I relaunch it, maybe in the fall, I'll have much more better, marketing art and everything. And so I'll come back again and maybe we can try again next time. But
you got an open invite here, that's for sure. For whenever you just want to shoot the shit. But yeah, man.
So much. Yeah, it'd be fun to come back with maybe with Isaac or with Chance Wolf or one of those guys that are my buddies. So,
yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
We got Rick Saylor in the house. What's going on, brother?
What's
Good
up,
to see you. I am trying to find. Oh, who did that? Interesting. I'm trying to find if I can find any of the stuff that Nestor colored over me because I put all that stuff up on Instagram, and I just found this interesting Reaper Destroyer art by Phil Chow on Deviant Art. Interesting.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool. All right, let me see. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I will. No, you're calling me out on it and everything.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's excited.
Yeah.
Well, it's just I didn't expect to see it. But yeah, this right here.
Oh, that guy? Nice.
Very
I don't know who it is.
Yeah, he does stuff like that. It's really cool.
Very nice.
Like, he does stuff like that.
No, like he does like front full figure stuff of characters in this type of style. Yeah, I think
nice.
I follow him on
I haven't seen that
IG.
before. That's the first time I've seen that. It's badass.
Oh, that's
very
so
cool.
dope. That is so dope.
Great looking character. Really, really sweet.
Yeah, I'm extremely happy with the character design on this, and one of the things I'm very proud of is that a lot of artists that have drawn the character have said they enjoyed drawing because it's a fun character to draw, and that was one of the biggest things with it is like just I draw cool stuff, like that's what I try to do, like stuff that's cool to draw, and hopefully everybody else will enjoy it as well.
Right, that's how to do it. Just draw cool stuff.
Let me see. Now I'm obsessed to see if I can find some of this stuff because Nestor, I really enjoyed working with. I can't find anything, and I have no access to my Instagram account on here anymore either.
Bummer.
Okay, well, that was a lost cause.
Nah.
It is what it is. But yeah, shout out to Nestor, man. Like it's cool to see him doing some stuff, and I'm seeing some of his work now, which I haven't seen in a while. I definitely see where he has improved so much, and that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for going over the campaign with the chat and everything. That was really cool, you guys. So appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely. Tartan says this reminds me of playing around with that Brett Booth Reaper Destroyer piece. Hell yes, buddy. Hell yes. I love anybody that does that. Let's go. Sean.
What did I do? No, I'm not showing this off. I apologize. Let me stop that.
I almost brought up porn. Come on.
My bad. No, I'm trying to get a file ready to pull from my Cintiq for my iPad for when I watch 80s cartoons after this. And just
there you go. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. We have 160 people watching all together. Shout out to everyone watching over on X. Also, the core 20s in the house here on YouTube, going nuts in the comments. I love you guys. Dropping links, doing all that kind of good stuff. Appreciate you guys. Go check out Patrick Blaine's Thunder Piece 509. That looks awesome. It's only got 36 hours left, but do what we can do to get to that goal. If not, he's going to relaunch it. He's going to come back on here. We're going to do it all again. But I think this book looks actually absolutely fantastic, and I do think this is one of those books that needs to be more attention to it, and it needs to be back.
Special.
So
Yeah,
spread the word. Let's get it going.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. You guys got a great audience here, and I know that they'll help spread the word. So that's awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no worry.
Absolutely.
We got blackmail on most of them too, so we'll see what we can do to help you out.
Perfect.
Also, we looked at Battle Beast #1, which was an awesome book. Very fun. Go out and buy that if you guys haven't, and be on the lookout for issue 2. This Sunday, I believe I will be back for the Ronan Joe show. I've taken the last couple weeks off, holidays and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think I got anything going on this weekend, so I'll probably be on talking about some stuff, shooting the shit there at 8 o'clock on Sunday, and then Tuesday, the Spawn review at 8 p.m. Be back there as we jump into whatever we're looking at with Spawn. Got a couple ideas out there. We haven't solidified it just yet. But next week on Ahrent Stuff, we are... I'm going to bring up my calendar here. I'm horrible at keeping track of all the dates.
We're doing something.
We're doing something next week.
We'll be here.
Jose Garcia's on. That's right. I forgot.
Oh, okay. Jose Garcia.
Jose Garcia's on, and I think we're going to be looking at some Joe Mad stuff.
Very good. Very good.
I don't know what yet. I don't know if it's going to be Battle Chasers or if it's going to be something. But we're going to look at
Darksiders. Let's look at Darksiders.
You want to do that one?
Yeah.
That works. That's fine.
Yeah.
That works for me.
For that. I love his stuff, man. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So
arm and the leg on those the Art of Darksiders.
Oh,
big
wow.
books.
I want to see that. Put that on the show.
That works for me. That works for me.
Pictures.
Next Thursday at 8 p.m. We got John in the house from Australia. What's going on, brother? Good to see you, man. Thank you for joining us. Dennis Kelly also joining here at the end. Appreciate you. Sorry, missed it. Take care, all. Definitely, man. Well, go back and watch the show when you get a chance, because I think it was a very, very fun show. Shout out to the chat. Everybody, you're here as always. Appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with us. You guys are amazing. You know that. Patrick, thank you for coming on. This was a blast. We'll definitely do it again sometime soon, and maybe dive into some more comic book art talk, because this was, this is what we like to do. We like to geek out here with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. That was really fun. Really awesome.
Absolutely, man. Stick around after we end the show. We'll wrap some stuff up here. But guys, chat, everybody, have a great night. And I'll say this like I always do. Be good to each other out there. Take care of one another. And as always, picture me naked. Talk to y'all later. Peace.